Welcome to Scorched Earth and a general mid-month reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon and Ascendant for the last 2 weeks of February from the 15th to the 28th. It's going to be shorter than the main monthly readings because we're only covering that 2-week period, and the structure is slightly different to what I do in the main readings. So here, try not to pull any clarifiers if I possibly can to start with. But what I'm looking at here is the energy that you find yourself in at the moment, and then we look to why that energy is here, in so much as what is the lesson of the energy that you're sat in at the moment, right? And I find it helps navigate through challenging things if you are looking for the lesson right there. And sometimes it's about how to deal with a particular thing, other times it's about, preparing the landscape for something new that's coming in. In retrospect, you can usually see that that's what's happened, but it's sometimes quite difficult to see it when you're in the middle of it. So I hope that makes sense. That's what I'm doing. If you're interested in an overview for 2021, or at least the first 6 months from January to June, that's available on Vimeo. It's still up there. The description is in the link below if you want to check that out. Do I have anything else to tell you? They're over an hour and a half long, I think, so I think they're worth it for what they are. I must tell you about the meditation, right? So I do a pre-sign meditation for every reading that I do, and I've just done yours, and it was really, really interesting. Like, I could see a lion, right? Obvious because it's Leo, right? I saw a lion, but I kind of drifted towards the lion and then went into the lion, and then suddenly I could see everything from the lion's point of view, which was really, really interesting. And then after that, a doorway appeared, a portal, if you will, but a doorway, big arched doorway for me. And the idea was, certainly what I gleaned from that, was that, new opportunities are coming in, but it requires you to step into the fullest version of your Leo power that there is in order for you to go through that doorway. You may not even notice that doorway if you're not there in that lion space at the time. So that was quite interesting. So let's have a look and see what comes out in the cards. Hey, can I have 3 cards for Leo, please? Where is Leo at right now? This is interesting, and it's really interesting because it's actually very similar to the cards that have just, very similar to the cards that have just come out for Sagittarius. Slightly different, but a lot of the cards are the same. Not least because I asked for 3 cards and actually I'd got like a shitload more than that. I actually used the Crow Tarot, so it's not even as if like the cards have just jumped out here. I am sensing in you the same level of rising determination that I was feeling in Sagittarius. And I don't know if that's a fire sign thing because I haven't actually done Aries yet, but it'd be interesting to see if that comes up too. We've got the 2 of Swords at the bottom of the deck, and we have the Lovers and the fucking Ace of Pentacles underneath there, right? This is really interesting because it seems to me, right, a lot of Leos were in a bit of a funk over January, right? I certainly was, and those Leos that I've spoken to all seem to have felt the same thing, right? All 76 months of January were awful. No energy, complete flat line, it was really difficult energy to navigate, particularly as I had an awful lot of things going on as well. So it was real drudgery, right? And that feels a little bit like how this is here, because I felt a little disempowered by it. I didn't really know how to shift it. I just knew that it was there and it was happening. And then all of a sudden, when the full moon hit in January, and it was a full moon in Leo, it was like for a couple of days before that, I just suddenly got a rocket up my backside, right? And I was like, well, you're in this funk because you're in this funk. You're allowing yourself to be in this funk, like, sort it out. I picked myself up by the scruff of the neck and I was just like, well, look at all of these things that you need to do. Like, You don't have a choice whether you feel like you've got no energy or whatever. Just do it. And my energy levels just increased exponentially off the back of that because I took control of my own situation. But we have the Ace of Pentacles underneath here. And what was I saying about opportunity, right? It's really close, and it feels really, really close, actually. But in order to see it, you have to be in the mindset, right? What's that thing about drawing opportunities to you? Is it really that you draw opportunities to you? Or is it that you're in a mindset of being able to observe them when they appear? One that other people might fucking miss. How mad, how close to the meditation is this all at, right? Now, the cards that we've got down here on the table, which are exceedingly similar to the ones that turned out for Sagittarius, are the Father of Pentacles, Father of Swords. Sag had the Queen of Swords. He also had the Father of Pentacles, well, King of Pentacles. And then we have the High Priestess, interesting, and the Moon and the World. These two both came out for Sag too, not the High Priestess. And I feel like that is the important thing that sets the two of you apart at the moment. Now we've got this masculine energy of these kings here, and that doesn't mean man, so please don't get wound up in that. It's tarot does not care about gender. We have masculine and feminine presentation of energy, and everybody holds both within them, right? But it is the active version of this, and this is really important. There's nothing receptive here about either of these energies. We have here the King of Pentacles, who is extremely concerned with looking after his material well-being, right? The pentacles can indicate money, but not always. It's energetic resources. Okay, so if you are looking to improve your material in whatever sense that is, whether it's a new house, whether it's just the people that you spend time around, I don't know how you improve that, but it's quite a structured energy, which is something that fire often isn't. But as a fixed fire sign, some level of structure is actually quite important for you. You like to know where you are in the universe before you make any moves. These are both actually really structured kings. They're the two most structured. I would say that the King of Cups and the King of Wands a little bit more ethereal in nature, right? These are structured. So you've got here a plan, it seems, that you are looking to execute in some sort of way. And like I said, this could be getting a new job, it could be getting a new home, it could be something like that. Or it could just be looking at your life and going, do you know what, I've got energy leaks everywhere, I need to plug these, I need to focus. And that could be something as simple as just like tossing your phone onto the bed and ignoring it for a few hours while you get things done, right? Uninstalling Facebook from the phone, something like that. Incidentally, I closed my Facebook account, like proper deleted it and everything, and it was incredibly liberating, and I liked it. It might work well for you too. Anyway, so we've got this here, but we've got it also with the King of Swords. Now, this is very, very clear thinking, right? This is a level of mental agility that was certainly missing from the Leo experience during January. Well, it's back, and it looks like these two kings have got their heads together, and they are looking to bring about new opportunities, right? Bring them about, spot them when they happen, who knows? What is absolutely clear is that you have no intention of going back to this energy from January. None whatsoever, right? So improvement of current circumstances, but also, given that these are Taurus and Aquarius, it's actually quite a nice pairing, because we've got Taurus lays the groundwork here, right? This king knows the value of starting with a seed and nurturing it, right? Is actually like the master of delayed gratification. That's what we've got going on here, because what comes in the future will be worth it. But then we also have a level of forward thinking here implied by Aquarius, right? And they're very rarely right here. They're always looking off towards the horizon. So what we've got here is a game plan. and it's strong. Now, you may not know the full details of what this is for you yet. It might just be presenting as a desire to change things, a desire to shift things, knowing that that needs to occur. But you're in the best possible position for this to happen, provided you are the one making the decisions about what it is that you want, right? And to do that, first off, you have to know what you want. And then we've got these 3 cards here. Now, this is really, really interesting. Like I said, Sagittarius had the moon and the world. And there's a sense with both of you that there's a cycle that you're trying to bring to completion. There are old things, trying to let them go. But it feels slightly different for you, because where for Sag, it was that they'd had, quite a difficult 2020. Right? And there was a period of adjustment that they were in. For Leo, 2020 was actually a little kinder. I think Leo was the sign that got off the lightest in terms of the planetary energy of all of the signs, to be honest. But that wasn't, special treatment. That was because the years before that were absolutely diabolical, and we lost ourselves and were kicked in the teeth, metaphorically speaking, by the universe over and over again, until our ego crumbled into, the very dust of life, really. I had to rebuild, right? So for us, for the Leos, there's something very much broader here. I'm looking at this. We see the colours here on the Father of Pentacles and the Father of Swords, right? And his swords in his antlers growing from his head, and then scattered all around the outside here of that card. The High Priestess and the Moon are both cards of the internal. Right? And interestingly enough, the moon talks about the things that generally are hidden from us, whereas the High Priestess talks about an absolute knowledge and the wisdom that comes from the correct application of that knowledge, right? Channeling down through the universe. Very, very spiritual here. It feels like you're preparing for the next stage of your life. But whereas Sagittarius seems to be quite focused on the pentacles, right? It's about, there's an absolute end goal in mind, right? And maybe it's a house, maybe it's a new job, like whatever it is, right? And they're using this laser-like focus to kind of sort through all of this stuff. For Leos, there's something a bit bigger going on here. That you have changed. It's almost like 2020 was a consolidation year for you, right? Where everybody else was kind of losing their shit and falling to pieces. You're like, right, I spent a couple of years doing that already. Like I'm good. And it was kind of bedding into your new identity, or your new found identity, because it isn't really new. It's kind of coming back to who you always were within. Consolidating so that you can move, right? And this has been a thing that's been coming up for Leo quite a lot, was this waiting until it was time. Well, this feels like that consolidation period is now over. Like the true stepping into who you are is really, really starting to occur. You're really starting to feel it, and as a result, it's kind of unlocking these new doors for you. There is an understanding that things have to end. There's an acceptance now with Leo that things end and that's okay. We don't need to cling to these things. But this seems like such a level of awareness of what's going on within you that you don't have to dig quite so hard as other people do to pull up all of these bits of the shadow. There'll be vestiges of it left in there, absolutely, because that work is never done. But when you are able to do it in a more dynamic fashion, which is what I think that Leos are doing now. You're pretty much doing it on the fly. You don't have to set aside right, this month I'm going to be doing shadow work, I'm going to be actively looking for that thing. It's just there. There's a stillness now. The thing is, what's coming in through the stillness isn't just you. Now, there are other things. This is so spiritual. And it feels like the next stage in your spiritual journey, and it's a step up from where you have been, right? Rather than this being an ending, it's a knowledge of the cycles of things, right? Rather than it being an abstract, it's something that you feel the ebb and flow of, and you're like, right, I'm in tune with the wheel now. This is all cool. I'm ready to step this up to here. It's almost like wanting the world and knowing that you can have it. Like, what do you want? It's a little less about the things, and it's about the new stage of spiritual development that's coming in for you that you feel so very strongly. I'm just going to pull one more card for the world, even though I said that I wouldn't, because I'm nosy and I'm a Leo, and like curiosity killed the cat and all that. Tell me about this world card, please. Ooh. Amazing. We've got the Devil, we've got the Eight of Wands, and we've got the Nine of Cups. Now, the Devil covers the material. It can talk about toxicity and fear and all of those things that we really, really struggle with. But I feel like there's a level of transcendence here that has occurred for you, Leo. Like, you kind of dealt with a lot of your dark shit. And if not with it all, at least got to the point where you're aware of it. It's almost like the shadow is a constant companion for you, and it's not something that you're afraid of anymore. In fact, it absolutely feeds in, as it should, to your knowledge of what you want, what makes you happy, how you make yourself happy, right? You can't appreciate the things that make you happy unless you have a true understanding of what makes you unhappy. And that dialogue is now in place, right? It's been setting the scene. Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves, but it seems like it's been setting the scene for what comes next. And what comes next feels like, it feels big. It feels really big. I've got Nine of Pentacles just there in the deck as I've picked it up. Like, what do you want? Because I don't think that there's much off the table for you. And it does not feel to me like it's that you're that interested in the Pentacles, right? Whatever the Pentacles are, you're not really interested in that. It's about wisdom. It's the pursuit of wisdom seems to be the thing. And almost a preoccupation in being that seat of wisdom. There's something of the oracle about you now, Leo, that is something that you are really, really quite comfortable with. And you're ready to develop your abilities further. A full channel. Tell me about the lesson here. What's going on for Leo here? Love it, love it, love it, love it. So, we have the Empress. Notice that there's a moon on that card. That's a dark Empress. And we've got the High Priestess and the moon there. The moons are the same. You see how they're all coming across. This is your ability to be able to manifest new things, bring new things into the world, but it's coming from a dark place. Right? Now, I don't want you to be frightened of that, because I think far too many people are frightened of the dark. The dark is the place that is warm. It is comforting. I can't believe how much this theme has been coming up this month. I love it. If you want to plant a seed, what do you do with it? You put it in the ground and you deprive it of light. Right? Your exploration of your inner place is now allowing you to tap a well of something, right? You are able to bring something new into the world, make it manifest almost. Or at least that's where you're going with this. And that could be material things, but it could also be the level of engagement with spirit or source or the universe, whatever it is, like a real development of any particular, gifts that you might have, whether it's, clairaudience or clairsentience or, clairvoyance, something like that. This stillness that you've managed to achieve here is allowing information to come through now, and some of it will be for your benefit and some of it will be for the benefit of others, but regardless, it's a new stage in your life. It's almost like where you are right now is a transitional period, because you are bringing something new forwards. And the next card that you've got is strength, spiritual growth. It is preparing you for the next level of your spiritual development, and it looks like it's going to be pretty big. We've got the Knight of Wands here. Now that's the card of Sagittarius, but it is it's really rather wonderful, because I call this my fuckboy card, to be honest. Sometimes when I see it come up in readings, it's not particularly a card you want to see come up in love readings, for example, but it is somebody who is, on the flip side, able to live in the moment, to truly appreciate the moment. And notice I was wrapped around a stick there. Snakes for me talk about wisdom. So we've got wisdom there, we've got knowledge, and it's wrapped around this wand, which is acting as a beacon for something going out. Maybe illumination, you know, and we see it carried across. The funny thing is, we get all Hermes Trismegistus about this, right? It's as within, so without, as above, so below. You know, we've got all of this moon energy here depicted, this dark, feminine, fertile energy channeled from something else. And then we have your ability to be able to bring it out into the world, right? Via the sun, which is, you know, it's our celestial body. It is the power of the sun. It is illuminating everything. Oh, I love this for you. It's a channel in the proper sense of the word. In taking something that is indistinct, that is, you know, not able to be perceived by others, and then bringing it out into the world in a way that can be perceived by other people. Oh, I love it. All right, let's get some advice. Have some advice cards for Leo, please. Well, we have the Page of Pentacles, we have the Lovers, we have the Two of Swords in reverse. I'm going to get one more because the Lovers and the Two of Swords came out together. Oh, we've got the Fool. That's beautiful. Eight of Wands, interestingly, Sagittarian energy. Look at that, right? It's a card that talks about inspiration. No, inspiration, it talks about momentum. It can talk about inspiration, right? That lightning rod just hitting there. I actually said that word before I'd even thought about it. It just came out. I don't really think before I speak, to be honest. I don't really know what I think until I start talking. Sometimes it surprises me. Anyway, we're going to go with inspiration, I think, here. Oh, goodness. Goodness. We have Death and we have the Hierophant underneath here. Now, Death is a card of transformation, which is huge. And it's seen as like a transformation of the way that you receive communication, because you're opening up. But we've got this Hierophant here, and notice how we've got another lightning strike here on the Hierophant. Now, the Hierophant is a teacher. And you could be possibly thinking about actually moving into teaching, or you could just be accepting in a broader, more abstract way that you are now a teacher by the way that you act. Because let's not forget, the Wands is all about action. It's about living. It's about experience, leading by example, potentially. So we have this Page of Pentacles here, right? And that speaks about a new start in the beginning, right? It talks about, you know, finding a thing that is important and then looking to fill your life with that. But it is right at the beginning. It is, therefore, speaking about, you know, changes occurring in your material environment to reflect what will be the new stage in your life moving forwards. We have the Lovers card, card of manifestation. Watch your thoughts at this time, right? Be aware of your thoughts, because they're not you, right? They are actually something that exists outside of you. Get good at watching them and making sure that you are aware that your thoughts have weight. Particularly at this time, it seems like your ability to manifest is actually pretty sparky. So watch what it is that you're thinking about. Right? Stay focused on these things. And to do that, you need to be aware of your emotional state. If anything makes you feel a bit off in this 2-week period, swerve it, right? Listen to your intuition. High Priestess. Listen to your intuition and pay attention to what she is saying there, right? If something feels really, really good, then just go with it, roll with it. And then we've got the Fool. Now this is a card of a new start too, and I love to see this in a reading where the world has come out and the death card, in fact, but it speaks about trust. Trust yourself, trust the signs, trust whatever is coming in for you, because you're now in a position to be able to receive those messages. Like, even just look at this. Here's what's going on with you at the moment, right? We've got you with that Ace of Swords. We've got the antlers going on, like all, you know, bright red. And then look, like, you're being given a gift at this moment, and the gift is your intuition. So pay really close attention to it. Monitor your own emotions. Check in with your thoughts. See what you're doing, because feels like there's something quite shiny coming in for you. Oh, I love it. Right. I hope that this was helpful to you. That's always what I set out to achieve. So if I've managed it, then bonza. Know that I love you all very, very much, and I will see you soon.